In these four examples, we're being asked to graph the inequalities. So I'm going to do it two different ways. It does not matter to me whether you use dots or if you use parentheses and brackets to do your graphs. When you get into a higher level of math, your teacher might have something specific that they want you to do. So I am presenting both of them so you can learn both of them. So here in this example, we're being asked to graph y is less than 4. So I'm going to find 4 on my graph. Since I don't have any numbers written here, I can just choose wherever I want and mark that as 4. Y is going to be less than that. So that means that 3 is less than 4. So because 3 is less than 4, then y can be 3. So I identify where is 3 on my graph. It's going to be to the left of 4. Next thing I have to ask, is this equal or is it strictly less than? It does not have the extra bar there, so it's strictly less than. That means if I'm going to use dots, I'm going to use the open dot, the hollow dot. And then I have my line going off in this direction, and there's my graph. That graph is done. Using parentheses and brackets, again, I'm going to find the 4 and I'm going to find the 3. And I know that my line is going to go off in this direction. The only difference between this graph with the dots and this one is now I need to figure out, do I use the round parentheses or do I use the square brackets? The parentheses is going to get close to the number, but it's never actually going to get to the number. So parentheses does not equal the number. This symbol here does not have the extra equal to sign on it, so this does not equal. So that is telling me I need to use parentheses. Over here does not have the equal to part on it, so therefore that is also going to be using parentheses and open dots. So I need to find over here, where is 3? Found 3. I figured out that I need to use an open dot or a parenthesis, so I'm going to put that in. Again, to me, it does not matter which one you use, whether it's open dots or parentheses. But pick one for yourself and stick with it. With a parentheses here, I don't know which way am I supposed to put them. Am I supposed to have a closing parentheses, or am I supposed to have an opening parentheses? I got to think about this a little bit more before I decide. So I see x is greater than 4. Sorry, x is greater than 3. So I think about 4 is greater than 3, so x can be 4. So I find 4 on my graph. And now I know that my line can go out in that direction, which now tells me with my parentheses, I want my opening parentheses here, as opposed to over here I had a closing parentheses. Going down to the bottom two examples. The difference between this symbol here and that symbol there, this one has the less than or equal to. It has the equal to part on it. So that means wherever I put my dot, I'm going to fill in that dot. So I need to find -2. I'm asking for dots in this example, so I fill in my dot at -2. -2 is less than or equal to m. So now I have to figure out which direction do I want to put my line. So I'm going to choose a number that -2 is less than. Well, -2 is less than 0, right? That's a true statement. So I'm going to find 0 on my number line, and I'm going to make my line go out in that direction. Same type of thing down here. I have my -2, I have my 0, I make my line go out in that direction. Down here, because I'm using parentheses or brackets, I have to figure out, is it going to be the open or the close? Is it going to be parentheses or is it going to be brackets? I have my equal to symbol on here. I want to use my square brackets. So I am using my opening square brackets. Notice that the lines on the bracket go out in the same direction as my arrow. -5 is greater than or equal to x. So I find my -5. I have my equal to part on it, so if I'm doing a dot, I fill in my dot. -5 is greater than x. So I think about that. I'm going to compare -5 and 0 first. -5 and 0. The 0 is bigger. So I cannot make x equal 0. I want it to go the other direction. If I compare -5 to -6, now -5 is greater than -6. So I want my arrow to go out in that direction. Same thing down here. My arrow goes out in that direction. Down here, instead of the dots, I want parentheses or brackets. I have to figure out which one do I want, parentheses or brackets. I have the equal to part on there, so I'm going to square it off. I'm going to make it into brackets. Now I have my graph done. You will be asked to do this one of these two ways, either the parentheses and brackets or dots on your homework. Because of this disrupted semester with COVID and all the other stuff that's going on, your testing will be on the computer, so therefore you need to learn how to do this the way that the computer homework does it.